Hi, this is Alan from Sherpa People Systems, and I wanted to share with you this quick video. And it's entitled "This One Thing is Killing Your Productivity, and it isn't doing you any good either." And what is it? Well, in this world of open plan offices that many of us are sitting in, the answer is distraction. And there's a lady called Professor Gloria Mark in the University of California, and she has done some fascinating studies into distraction. Her particular specialism is informatics, how we relate to work with technology. And what she's found is that in open plan environments, a traditional kind of typical office, we get distracted on average about every 3 minutes or so. And the interesting thing is she also found that it takes us 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back to the task that we were focused on in the first place. And what happens is when we go back to that task, we unconsciously speed up and the body starts producing stress hormones. Now, one of the symptoms of this distraction that we're immersed in, many of us, is that it leads to this constant task switching. Some people think we multitask. The reality is the brain never multitasks. What it does is it task switches. It moves from one task to another very quickly in the brain. Now, the Journal of Experimental Psychology have done some pretty interesting articles around task switching. And what they say is that it has a negative effect. We release stress hormones and adrenaline when we're task switching. There's a lady called Dr. Susan Weinshank, and she says it takes more time to complete the actual task at hand when we task switch. You're using more brain power than you actually need to, and obviously, as we said earlier, it triggers stress hormones. Professor Earl Miller, who's a neuroscientist from MIT, said task switching decreases our IQ by 10 points. And that's the equivalent of losing one night's sleep. So the big question is, how do you wake up in the morning? What is the first thing that you do? And for most people, within the first 5 to 15 minutes, they jump on their phone, they start checking their emails or WhatsApp messages. And what they're actually doing is throwing their brain into the habit of distraction. And there are some commentators who now say, particularly amongst young people, that we have a distraction addiction problem. So in the kind of modern work environment where the pressures are incessant, distraction is actually one of the biggest challenges for you as a leader, but also for your team. So what's the solution? Well, probably a good place to start, it's not the entire solution, is give yourself a Christmas present and grab the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. And what deep work is really the discipline of setting time each morning to do one singular focused task. And believe it or not, our brain is at its best when it's focused on a singular task. And it actually is good for our well-being too. So deep work is really the science and the evidence behind this important new habit of focus time. It'll improve productivity, it'll improve quality of productivity, it will improve people's well-being, it will improve engagement. So the list goes on. The point is that we're in a world where distraction is the norm. So you've got to work really hard to get deep work positioned in your team or your organization, so you start getting the best out of people, and also more importantly, you start looking after people who are probably feeling under the pump. Now, if you want to give yourself an additional Christmas present, we've got an early bird special on until the 20th of December for our Agile Leadership Training. It's called Leading Emergence, which is on the 31st of January and 1st of February 2019. If you go to Eventbrite, you'll see the link there. If you just search on Agile Leadership Training, and you'll see the Leading Emergence course there. So that's another Christmas present you could give yourself. And yes, absolutely, that's a shameless plug. So look after your team, look after yourself, understand that distraction is not only bad for your productivity, but it's bad for your health, and try and set aside time to do a little bit of deep work every single day, and try to avoid jumping on your phone early in the morning. Speak to you soon.